You want Lisa.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you. Sorry. Very interesting time. Is Rebecca off the road?
Yes.
Rebecca off the road? All right. Sorry, now I'm waiting for that.
Linen.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yes, yes. Why was gonna be playing
All right, we're gonna get started. Mr. Hobbs, invocation, please.
Good evening, everyone. I have the invocation tonight. I've also wanted to include our great student representatives here and to help me a little bit and just use your observations. What do you see? Anyone? Well, okay, specifically, what's in front of me? What do you see?
Two glasses and one is filled with
Two glasses. Okay, someone
One is full, the other is empty.
Okay, well, you said one's full and one's empty? Okay, Ms. Tom? Oh, okay.
Here?
I know, right? That's what I said.
It's tea, it's tea.
I thought maybe it was wine, I would bring a loaf of bread.
You said this was, Ms. Tom, what would you say about this one now?
it's apple.
Anyone else? Well, what did I do?
Oh, you filled it?
I filled it and then I drank part of it, so is it still half full?
I guess so.
Can one of the board members help me?
It's half empty?
Oh, okay, this is the great debate, right? This one, Ms. Tong said was half full. Why isn't that half empty? What about this one? I filled it, well, didn't fill it all the way up. I don't think I could drink that much. But I drank some down, so now this one you could say is, but why isn't it half full? The great debate, okay? What it is, and I guys can be more elaborate than me in trying to decide, is this half full, is this half empty? But all that thinking, all that posturing, telling me what it is. But these guys are maybe the board members. Who? If you put them in categories, who says it's half full? Who says it's half empty? Do the student representatives know? What do they call those people? Jen?
Optimist and pessimist.
An optimist or a pessimist? Doesn't matter. Optimist, pessimist. What was I thinking? We're coming up in elections. Republicans, Democrats, Muslims, Christians, straight, gay. Everyone is missing the point. Whether it's half full or half empty, we're supposed to be servers. We can all fill the glass. Let's all be glass fillers. Until the thinkers do, and the doers think, then progress is just going to be just another word in the overburdened vocabulary of talkers who talk. Let's be glass fillers.
Thanks, Mr. Hobbs. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hobbs.
Mr. Cuff, roll call, please.
Mr. Hobbs? Ms. Boykins?
Present.
Ms. Hopkins? Mrs. Trivia? Mr. Wright? Here. Ms. Schultz?
Here.
Mrs. Quayle?
Here.
Ms. Richardson?
Here.
Ms. Hoff?
Present.
Ms. Lowe?
Here.
Ms. Nashiri?
Here.
And Ms. Caitlin?
Here.
Full board.
Thank you. All right, okay. Ms. Hopkins, will you drive for me? We have a lot of good news to share. We just gotta push that arrow down. There you go. All right, this is an Ardmore Avenue volunteer to make, there you go. To make the point that if you want to help in our school, please call your local principal today. Mr. Dellensbeck and other principals are doing awesomely using volunteers to help our students. So please, if you're willing to help, call your local principal. Thank you. Penwood defeats Chichester 42-0. This is a record evening. Mr. Johnson Jr. threw for 206 yards and 5 passing touchdowns, which is a school record. So congratulations, Johnson family. Which brings us to our next one, that if you are not at Academy Park on Friday, I don't know where you are. This is for all the marbles, as I say, for Del Val, and these are the senior cheerleaders and senior football players, so congratulations to them. But our season is not over, so please come to Academy Park this Friday. It was guaranteed to be a good time. And again, this is a Bernier graphic. Go on. Girls cross country, congratulations. We'll be seeing them in person, but they are 2018 Del Val League champions. I believe it's the 9th in the row, right, coaches? 9th in a row. Boys soccer also won the 2018 Del Val League, and I believe they play tomorrow in the playoffs after sneaking in there. Congratulations, guys. Congratulations to Miss Doris, Reverend Doris, on the Wall of Hope that was done with students. That is the Park Lane snack stand. It was an amazing transformation, and congratulations to them all. Free IEP clinic Tuesday, October 30th at Ardmore Avenue. Please bring your child's IEP to receive a free consultation. College Possible, we had College Possible here this summer in July, and I just wanted to follow up with her and present that information. 32 seniors and 32 juniors are involved in the Penwood College Possible program, and they've submitted to their first college applications. 38 additional college applications have been in. So congratulations to College Possible. Congratulations to Miss Andrea Fink, Miss Jackson, and East Lansdowne Elementary Schools for going to County Council about traveling a drug-free life and Red Ribbon Week. College night at Penwood High School. If you missed it, you missed 500 students. It was by far the most packed I've ever seen. It was awesome. Congratulations to the high school staff for planning a great evening. Thanks for running buses. It was amazing. It just was amazing. I was privileged enough to be with 20 of our students this weekend for the NASA Space Apps Challenge. There's so many amazing things I could share about this. First, my appreciation to Penwood Foundation, Boeing, and the district for making it possible. But we also had 4 alumni speak to the students regarding being in college for STEM careers. They were all in college or recently graduated. Thanks to Mr. Hunter for bringing Christian. So Christian Hunter was there. Shayla Williams, Gabe Peter, Muhammad, and Sarah McCann all participated. It was great for the students to have some people that were in college presently to talk to about what it's like to be in college for STEM careers. I'll share out a lot more information about that, but it was amazing. Penwood Foundation Showcase and Volunteer Appreciation Night. This free event is Thursday, November 1st, 2018 at 6:30 p.m. The new playground at Alden Elementary we'll talk about later, but congratulations to the team and Lowe's Charitable Educational Foundation. FAFSA Forum Night is Monday, November 12th, 6 to 7:30 in the Green Avenue Library. And there's a free wrestling mini camp Friday, November 2nd and Saturday, November 3rd at the Penwood Middle School Gym. Congratulations to the coaches for doing this. And Penwood Bocce was at the Youth Summit at Westchester University this weekend. Congratulations to Kevin Williams, Yusuf White, Nalim Dupree, and Tahib Murray on a well done event. Election Day is Tuesday, November 6th. All schools are closed. That is a picture of Lansdowne Votes, a nonpartisan organization who is dedicated to making people vote. Nonpartisanly, of course, they had a poster contest, and that is them handing the awards to the children at Ardmore Avenue. I forgot a slide on the listening sessions. The first one is November 5th at Alden Elementary School. Please come. There are flyers on the back table, and we will love to see you there. That's it for me. Thank you. All right. The as stated in the pre-session, Ms. Harbour is going to forego her superintendent report due to the amount of special awards we have tonight. So may I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I missed that question. Okay. Motion to approve the business meeting minutes of September 24th, 2018.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions from the board? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? Thank you. Motion to approve the minutes from the committee meeting of the whole, October 15th, 2018.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? Great. Ms. Samalou, your comments, please? Remarks?
Hello, everyone. The student reps have a concern we'd like to bring to the board. The 60-day ban, as explained to athletes, is a ban that prevents students from playing or participating in their sports for 60 days if suspended for any particular reason, such as fighting or others. A policy like this, as extreme as it sounds, we believe should be revisited.
The 60-day ban is incredibly ineffective and excessive. If you are encouraged to athletically perform better because of your academics, so that you can meet that 2.0 GPA, so that you can play, but then if you entirely remove that motivation from them, they are left with nothing. 60 days. For those 60 days, you are unable to attend any scholastic event, dance, or game. Now, if you're an athlete, that is basically your entire season. Not to mention the fact that this ban is not at all reinforcing why they are receiving consequences for their actions or why said actions were even wrong to begin with. As a school, we should be focusing more on rehabilitation as a permanent solution for violent actions rather than consequences that merely give them a timeout. In addition to this, the one thing that is giving these violent students a purpose is sports. For the majority of them, that is their passion. It is the one thing that is keeping them out of the streets. It is our opinion that to take that away from them would hurt more than build at what you're trying to achieve.
The board isn't compromising with the students, even for a altercation. The student is banned for 60 days. This could be any student, such as a student who has straight A's and was suspended for a first offense. But if they were to be a track star and they live for track, they would have all of their motivation for school taken from them as their sports have been taken. Their scores would go down and their academic success would be compromised. They have worked hard to keep their grades up enough to not be taken out of their sport. this ban should be relooked and reevaluated.
As a student body, we are all taught from a young age that there are consequences to the decisions we make. But when the consequences outweigh the severity of our decisions and hurt us more than they discipline us, how can we be expected to grow from these decisions and ensure the result that you expect? Thank you.
You'll address afterwards? Okay. Thank you. Special awards. First up, Naomi. I'm sorry? Yes.
Do you speak to the band?
What?
Do you speak to the band or who is listening?
So, I can speak to it impartial. I know that Mr. Curry is here. I would ask him if he feels comfortable speaking to it also. But it's truly a violent act where you would be suspended. It is not necessarily a minor altercation. So I want people to understand that. So Mr. Curry, I think you can say it better than I, and I'm gonna, if you're...
Absolutely. I'm Mr. Curry, by the way. I'm the assistant principal over at the high school. And I have an open door policy. And so this is my first time actually hearing from these young ladies that it was an issue. Because really why we did the ban was for violent offenses, fighting, assaults. If you have a minor situation in the building, you won't get a 60-day ban. We're just trying to reduce the violent behavior in the building. That's all we're trying to do. And we have seen a reduction in the violent behavior in the building since the beginning of the school year compared to last year. So it is working. I think it is effective. But I mean, it should be open for discussion, but I believe that the ban is important and it's been working. We've talked to athletes that's on a football team, and they say, look, I don't want to get that 60-day ban. It's a deterrent for the type of behavior that we're trying to stop in the building. So, and I think it's effective. And ladies, if you ever want to come in my office and have a conversation, definitely come in and we can talk about it. I'll be more than willing to break it down for you a little bit more.
Mr. Curry, this
Yes.
is not only for sports,
No,
for
it's
athletes.
for
This is
all
all
students.
after-school activities.
Yeah,
So if
all
you-
students.
And I just was going to say, speaking from a student athlete's point of view perspective, at the end of the day, we can help with this situation as well. So, for instance, I personally think that the band is good because I remember, if you remember a year ago, we were in situations where this room was filled with parents complaining about violence and complaining about different things, violent activities that was occurring in different schools all around. And with that being said, I did actually have a conversation with Mr. Curry about it, and he asked how I felt about it. And I think that student athletes and all students, but especially student athletes, should hold themselves to a certain standard. And I feel like there's certain things and nonsense we as student athletes can't be a part of. Do we know it will happen? Do we know there are people that are going to try to pull us in to those things? Where I feel like, yes, being an athlete, there is some people that say, you know what, she's a star track runner, or a star center, or a point guard of a team, so I want to try to bring her down. So they may provoke you. Where we can help as a district is, and as our athletic department, is to have these discussions, mentor to our kids, to get them to understand as student athletes. When I did hear about this, I said to myself, first thing is, people were overreacting. I felt like, of course we have to investigate. If it's someone's first offense, you can't just kick them out of school or ban them for 60 days without thoroughly investigating. So I think that the policy was read into just of an overview of thinking that, oh, this applies. The first thing that I was concerned was because our student athletes, the way that they reacted about it. Because as a student athlete, if I know that I can get in trouble, and if I get in some type of violent act or something like that, I can be banned for 60 days, that's going to make me be on my A game. Nobody's going to be able to knock me off my square, because at the end of the day, I know what I'm trying to accomplish. So what I think it is, I think it's something very good, and I will be reporting also great news with regard to what's going on in our school with in-school suspensions and things like that. I think that having this ban has helped in a lot of different ways, and I do understand, I just want to say, you can speak though, I do understand your perspective, but I think that it was just looked at as, okay, 60 days, you get banned for 60 days, you get in one altercation, and that's not how our school district is. we actually investigate. And Mr. Curry and I think Mr. Corkery have been doing a great job with that.
Alright, I understand what you guys are saying, but as a student board, our only concern was that it was 60 days. Like, we understand like the whole precaution about if you commit like a certain act, you will be banned, and it's like not even a minor offense, but 60 days as in the entire season. We're trying to fight for a revision, at least if it compromise at least 30 days, but an entire season off is the main concern where it hits us.
So your concern is the days?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, now he has an open door policy, so therefore he's willing to hear that. So I definitely think that that's something that he probably would consider. But I just want to say from my perspective, I understand why we're doing it, and I personally do support it.
And ladies, I would encourage you to follow the chain of command, just like I encourage the school board directors here to follow the chain of command, that they actually talk to the people. So I would highly encourage that you all make an appointment to go see Mr. Curry or Mr. Corkery just to discuss your concerns. I really think they are willing to listen.
Can I ask a question? So, as far as concerns are, like if we have any concerns, are these our only like options? These are only people who can communicate. Can we communicate to board members strictly as well? Like,
You can communicate with anyone you like.
Yeah. Anytime.
I just
Why?
Wait, hold. You're sorry, Mr. Wright?
Yes, I was aware, this situation. I met with Mr. Bruno, Dr. Bruno this morning in regard to this concern, because I have received some phone calls in reference. I think what should happen, and I agree with the student representative and the athlete look like they were being singled out. My recommendation would be to hold, I've been in schools where we effectively did this, to hold a meeting in an auditorium with the student body, that all students are included, not just separate students, and someone designated to read a policy and make sure the student, all of you have the policy? You have copies of the policy? Go over the policy, then come back, but to do it as a school of a whole. And schools where I worked at, we did that, and then it dropped, and everybody feels as though they had inclusion and involvement in the situation, and then everything subsided. So that would be my recommendation to speak to the whole student body.
But Mr. Wright, one thing I would like to say is, and to also the student representatives, this was not a policy for student athletes. I really want to stress that. Hold on,
Wait, no.
Mr. Wright, Mr. Wright, you were finished speaking, and then I said, can I address?
I wasn't finishing.
Mr. Wright, you were
No, I
done
wasn't
speaking.
finished.
Please.
I'm saying is there going to be an answer? My question is, are we going to take my recommendation, meet with the student body, the entire student body?
I think they did meet with the student body to discuss the policy.
We didn't hear.
So,
we
please,
don't know of any student body that was met up with. Like, and I'm involved, I'm class president,
Okay.
I was class president recently, student council, PBIS. We were never met up with to
Okay, but
discuss
this is something that can be resolved. So what we're saying is, Mr. Curry is saying that he's willing to have an open door, he has an open door policy, right?
My only
And-
concern with that is like, so am I just gonna go to Mr. Curry and discuss my concern and have it not taken anywhere else?
Oh, no, it will
Besides him
be.
knowing about it?
It will be, because how he explained this is that, one, we're trying to get you to go through chain of command, right? So you will go to him, right? And then he will work with the policy with you and any questions or concerns. Then he will resubmit the policy, and then we will have to vote on it. So there is a discussion that has to be made, that has to be had between you and Mr. Curry, because actually the 60-day ban, who put it together? That group put it together. So we're directing you to the people that put it together. You see what I'm saying? So this can be talked about, it can be rectified, your voices can be heard. It's really, what I just want to stress is, it's not just for student athletes.
The concern is that it will affect us mostly because look at, let's say a mock trial or speech and debate. These are activities that can be banned for 60 days.
Yeah.
These activities go on for the full school year. Sports are only literally 3 months per season, so that's affecting us more than it's affecting them. So therefore, it brings it more to our attention because we're being affected by it.
And you're absolutely right in what you're saying. But at the end of the day also, what I said, we could help as our athletic department, we can have those discussions, because at the end of the day, how I believe, and other athletes I know would say we hold ourselves at a certain standard. So yes, it would bring awareness to you. And you're absolutely right. That's the first thing you would think about is my season. But we want you to think like that. We don't want you to be a part of the nonsense. That's the only thing. This is about safety. It's not about to try to punish you. And I understand how it could punish you. But it's not. It's about safety. I just want to stress that.
I also,
And thank you for having a discussion.
wait,
Presenting
may I-
yourself.
excuse me, can I get, Miss Fitty was raising her hand, so I just want to stay on Miss Fitty.
my hand after her.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't see it. Miss Fitty?
All right, I'm the chair of policy. I do every, people with me, I talked to Dr. Bruner today. This policy is not just for athletics. A fight's a fight, a weapon's a weapon, you get 10-day suspension. Do they not still play sports, but in that 60-time span, they're being looked at, if one more incident, they're done. Am I correct, Dr. Bruno?
The words of the policy are probation, not prohibition.
Yes.
So that would be interpreted that once a student returns after the suspension, as long as they behave themselves, they're fine. If there's a repeat incident, then they can be barred from the team.
And I'll be honest with you, I've been to school for many years. This is to stop the stuff that's going on. This is policy. We're not going to break and bend rules because this is it. In life, you have to follow rules. You may not like your rules, but it's for your safety. And maybe that person that's fighting, or two, yeah, they deserve a 10-day suspension. They go back for 60 days, they're being watched, nothing happens, you're on it. I really take offense to some things because we've had problems before with certain athletes. And this is when this policy came about. We cannot have this. You're there to learn. You're there to get educated, okay? I hear your cry, I understand it, but this is policy. That's the way it is. My son back in the day was not in an altercation. Something happened, I got hurt, he got suspended and kicked off the team and got 3 scholarships taken away from him, but it wasn't a fight. I got hurt on the field. So my thing is, we're trying to cut the nonsense down. You boys and ladies and gentlemen are there for an education. You so deserve that education. So if there's 1 or 2 out of the crowd of 10, guess what? They need to be notified. They need to be noted. And that's what I'm trying to say. I'm that policy. If anybody wants to join me in meeting with Dr. Bruno, we'll go over policy, but I am not voting for a change.
Great. Ms. Hopkins?
And I want you to also know that it's not just about safety. You know, we're trying to change our image in the school district. We're trying to brand ourselves differently. And our students, no, listen to me, just listen to me, okay? Because the thing that you guys gotta understand is, especially me as a former athlete, my coach was the coach of the Olympics. And he was very, very, very strict about his image and the branding of the school and him, okay? So that when he takes us over to the Olympics, and when we ran over at the Penn relays, you know, that's when he wanted to make sure that we were doing what we need to do to uplift ourselves. I'm not even talking about the district. I'm not talking about, you know, all of us here. We're just talking about ourselves as athletes, you know, uplifting our own selves, you know. So when you guys talk about athleticism, you're also talking about a standard of how you behave. So I hear about the 60 days, and I understand exactly what you're talking about. But we've got to make changes in here, and these come with you making changes for your own self. You know, we put the rules out there, but you got to make the changes yourself. It's got to be about your own pride and the pride that you have within you. Then it goes out to say, yo, you know, you can't act like that because, you know, we're proud. You know, because even when I pledged my sorority, when my sister started acting crazy, I had to put her in place. Yo, that's not how we behave. That's not how we act. So it's about you guys making the change in your thinking and in your behaviors. It's not about that policy. It's about y'all and what you're bringing to the table.
Okay. Ms. Rebecca and Mr. Hahn.
I just, first of all, I understand the chain of command, and I think that's an important thing to point out. But I also want to say, like, I don't feel like our young people need to be lectured either. I think, like, I really appreciate how, you know, I don't think your comments need to be picked apart. I feel like you're speaking something that is important to you, and I really just want to say, like, I think that I hear you saying, well, what do we do here? You know, what are we saying here if we're not to bring that up? And so I think that's an interesting just point to raise, and I feel like bringing it first to where the policy came from, and then, you know, if it isn't addressed, I think that is where the board, you know, you bring it here, is from my understanding.
Correct.
But I also just want to say, I think, like, I really respect the way that you all are bringing the concerns you're hearing from other students and from yourselves, and I don't know, I don't want to just be adults talking at you. I feel like this is a room of equals. Like, we're in this together, and I think policy is meant for changing. We change policy all the time. So I think that comment to me is what I'm responding to a little bit. Like, I think you are supposed to be the voice of saying, we want to change this policy, and, you know, there's the chain of command to do it, but I don't think we have a policy and it exists forever and ever and we never change it. We're always changing policy. That's part of what our job is. So
And we all voted
I
on
just
that
want
policy.
to, right, I understand that. So, but we also want to be able to amend it and change it if it's not working. And I think your voices are really key in that. So I just want to lift that up.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Mr. Hobbs?
Just to follow Ms. Phillips, I echo that you guys did a great job of representing the student. That's who you are, the student representatives. Thank you for doing that. Clarification on the policy, Mr. Brewer, you said the way it states it's probation? It's so if a violent act happened, it's 10 days suspension, then they come back, they're on probation. So if, I think we brought up the track star, there's someone in track, so after the 10 days, if they're good, can they go back on to the team to compete after the 10 days?
That is the way the policy has been written, yes.
So it's not blanket 60 days. Am I saying truth? Okay, so that's what you have to work with. That's when you go to the athletic director, the assistant principal, and you can work out something like that. And so does that help a little?
All right, okay. Thank you guys very much for coming with that tonight. On to special awards. Okay. All right, coming up. Miss Naomi and Father. Thank you. Thank you.
Come on, guys, up here.
3 different people with 3 different occupations.
All right.
We need to get in the picture too.
So this is a board combination presented to Naomi Larry, an 8th grade student at Penn Middle School, for achieving a perfect score on the 2018 PSSA's Pennsylvania System of School Assessment.
And so we were just going through scores. One of our teachers, Miss Safuni, was going through, and she came in and she said, "Did you know that Naomi scored a perfect score on the math?" I said, "No, but congratulations, Naomi. Congratulations, Dad." There you go. Miss Cookman's gonna let you pictures.
I don't want to, I'm going to stand over here, I don't want to risk embarrassing you, Naomi, but I'm going to throw some love at you. I was fortunate enough to spend the last 48 hours with Naomi at the NASA Space Apps. And while she is a very, very intelligent woman, I don't even think that's her superpower. She is kind, she is collaborative, she will work, she asks questions. So the future is bright. Thank you, Mr. Larry.
Thank you.
For doing what you do to keep her moving. And congratulations, Naomi.
Also, I'd like to recognize the Larte family. They are going to be part of a documentary that was filmed here at the middle school Thursday and Friday. There was a producer, the neighborhood film company. They've come in to do a documentary on this family as they are brilliant children working a lot without technology in their homes. So kind of a contrast between two different families. I don't know when they'll be aired, but we will make sure you know. So, but thank you, Mr. Love.
Next up, Nathaniel Randall. There's
Hold on. Make sure I get the right one.
Okay, this is a board commendation presented to Nathaniel Randall, a Penn High School senior, for exemplary service as a William Penn School District School Board Student Representative for the 2016, 2017, and 2017-18 school years. Student representatives are recognized for school board service in their senior year after completing their required term of service.
Thank you. Okay, that's fine. Let's get your picture.
Whatever you guys want.
Here, you hold it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So-
Great opportunity.
Thank you, Nathaniel, but I'm going to keep this. I see there's an error in it.
Okay, girls cross
Look at
country team. Okay. Thanks for being here. Coaches,
You coach yourself.
come on. Come on.
Girls, right?
Yeah, girls.
Yeah, coaches, get up here. Here, you all hold it.
This is a board commendation is presented to Penwood High School girls cross country team for winning the Del Val League Championship in 2018. This is the team's 9th consecutive Del Val championship. That
No, I'm a photo bomb.
worked.
Right behind you. Good. Congratulations.
All right, congratulations.
Hey, congratulations.
Nathaniel, come back up.
I know. Oh, that's right.
This is a board commendations presented to the Penwood High School boys cross country team for winning the 2018 Delaware Valley League Championship. Congratulations. Congratulations. All right.
We're going to
Congratulations, Lenny. Yo, you know what? Nobody bring you up in here.
Come on, take me out, man. It's harassment, y'all.
Look at that on TV.
Congratulations.
Look at that.
You got it.
See what I'm saying? I go look at
It's in my pocket.
Did not. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Excuse me. We are now at the point of public comment regarding agenda items. Anyone? Okay, hearing none. Any communications, Mr. Cobb?
No, ma'am.
Committee reports. Community Relations Committee agenda. A1 American Education Week is November 12th to the 16th in 2018. Love on your educators, please. A2, the Wings providing free IEP clinics. The next one is Tuesday, October 30th from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Ardmore Avenue Elementary School. Please give a call if you have any questions. A3, Guidance Department hosts FAFSA Forum Completion Night, November 12th, 6 to 8 p.m. In the Penwood High School Green Avenue Campus Library. I cannot stress enough that FAFSA is one of those things that is done best early. Schools have a limited amount of money, and it's the first one that gets to the pot that wins. So please do them and ask for help. There is no shame in asking for help on those forms. They are not meant to be friendly. They're not meant to be easy. They're egregious, and ask for help, please. Any questions from the school board? Oh, sorry. A4. Mr. Hobbs.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. Just as the Alden representative, I just wanted to recognize some glass fillers over there, and that the Lowe's Foundation, you saw a slide in this House report, they gave just about $69,000 to help in the cost of putting up some new playground equipment there, and we were really pleased about that. The school had been raising money for that for many years, and that helped toward it almost cost about $75,000 to put it together. We had 300 people approximately at the dedication, and that just it was a neat time, and it was good for the children. I do want to say too that you talk about glass fillers. When you're talking about Alden Elementary, you can't. I know she's going to be embarrassed by this, but Miss Nell Romer, she's the glass filler there, and Mrs. Breaker will tell you that. She's her right-hand gal as far as putting things together like that. A couple other quick things that weren't on that. Again, glass fillers. Mr. Edelman and another employee of the school, they had the tennis program. They took money out of their own pay that they got and put up 2 new nets on the tennis court. We also put planter boxes in for doing vegetables and stuff. We have yet to get the vegetables in, but that's going to be in the spring, of course. But there was people that were volunteered their time. It was a hot day in the summer when we were shoveling all that stuff to fill in the boxes, and so anyway, thank you for.
Thank you, Mr. Hobbs. And
Ms. Snell, would you please stand up?
I didn't see you were here.
One of many. Lots of us together.
She had her vice principal's certificate.
thank you very much, Nell,
Thank
for
you.
spearheading that project. It's been a long time coming. We've been trying a long time for that school.
That's great.
Yeah, and thank you to Ms. Breaker.
Yep, thank you, everyone. A5 Penwood Youth Wrestling Mini Camp. I'll read this because it's important to know that this is available for our children. The Penwood High School coaching staff and wrestlers are offering a free 2-day youth wrestling mini camp to elementary school students in grades 3 through 6. The purpose of the camp is to provide an introduction to wrestling through drills, games, and competition. Elementary school students will be taught the fundamentals of wrestling and basic skills. The 2-day camp will be held Friday, November 2nd from 5 to 7 p.m. and Saturday, November 3rd from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Penwood Middle School in Darby. And then you can do your parental waivers. But thank you to the coaches for doing that. That's called building your farm team, and we appreciate that. A6, William Penn School District listening sessions. The William Penn School District will be hosting listening sessions on the first Monday of the month from November 2018 through May 2019, except for the month of January, a session will be held in each of the 6 boroughs that comprise the William Penn School District. All are welcome and welcome to attend any session, also known as you do not have to attend this session in your community. School district officials will be available to listen to concerns and provide information about all things related to William Penn School District. The first session is November 5th at Alden Elementary. They are from 7 to 9 p.m. Please attend if you can. Snacks and refreshments will be provided. People of all ages and all citizens are welcome, children in the district or children not in the district. If you have any questions, Pam Bookman's your lady. Thank you very much. Okay, Ms. Boykins, Education. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, look at that. May I have a first and a second for A1, please?
So moved.
All those in, any conversation? Hearing none, all those in favor? Anyone against? Great. Ms. Boykins, Education Committee, please?
B1, homebound instruction. B2, Walnut Elementary School, first grade students trip to Millennium Skate World in Camden, New Jersey. B3, summary of recent Education Committee meeting. I'll go over that as well, some topics. And B4, Penwood High School, Green Avenue, life skills student trip to Bellevue State Park in Wilmington, Delaware.
Oh, I'm sorry, may I have a second?
Second.
Any questions from the board?
So I was just going to go over the education, the minutes from the education meeting. So we had an awesome education meeting, I would like to say. We went over a lot of different topics. As you know, we had our ELA audit and it didn't go so well. And we haven't talked about it a lot. We talked about how we would put some corrective actions in place to be able to review the observations that the DCIU found during the audit. So recently what has happened is that you know that the review cycle was something that, a curriculum review cycle was something that we did not have set in place. Ever since William Penn School District was started, there was no curriculum review cycle set in place. So from the ELA audit, that was one of the findings. So what we did was we met let me rephrase this. Ms. Harbour brought together a education curriculum meeting and Mr. McKay with a whole bunch of different different teachers, and I think it was the count of about 35 teachers that are involved.
It's about 32.
32 or 35 teachers that are involved. So what they do is that it's a committee that is going to be reviewing our curriculum. And the first thing that we did, we started off with trying to figure out a strategic plan for our English language arts. So we're going through and we're reviewing that at this time. Just to let you know, September 25th, they had a meeting on September 25th. They had a meeting on October 2nd. And the last meeting, just want to tell you, they reviewed the purpose of the ELA renewal process, and they set it a strategic plan, which something was recommended from the DCIU. Also, they reviewed big ideas in reading and language. Also reviewed startling statistics about reading instruction and answered any clarifying questions. In the education meeting, Jane had presented some information about the literacy best practices through all grades, and then also learning how to read in as far as language arts across different disciplines such as math, science, and English. How can we put all this together, English language arts and science and math? So those are a few things I just wanted to give positive feedback on that, because when we had our ELA audit, it was a lot of negative feedback about the fact that we didn't have a curriculum, a review curriculum cycle in place. But now we do, and we're actually following what the DCIU is asking us to do, and we're putting a cycle in place. So I just wanted to report back that that is progress. Also, I took the opportunity to visit the high school, and I had the opportunity to talk to Dr. Lee. and other teachers, also look at the facility a little bit, and also talk to the assistant principals. And one thing I want to say is that I appreciate Mr. Curry and Mr. Corkery, what you're doing at the high school. You know, I was there the first day school opened. They were out there shaking everybody's hands, welcoming everybody in. It was very hot. We were out there sweating, but they were there. When I went to go visit, I wanted to see if that same type of positive energy was there the first day of school. So I go back to visit, and they're in the hallways. They're out there talking to the kids, and they're active and things of that nature. And I felt like that's good. That's what we need. We need definitely that, just someone that's out there and being personable with our kids. So from that, we had discussions on, I believe, if I'm correct, no in-school suspensions, or one in-school suspension for the month of September. And I think that's great progress, because if you remember prior to this that we were trying to figure out ways to avoid out-of-school suspensions, avoid in-school suspensions and things of that nature. Mr. Curry also has developed, and Mr. Corkery, and also what's the other gentleman's name that I believe is 3, Jane, you said, that have helped with the peer court. Mr. Travers,
yes.
With peer court. And I was asking Mr. Curry if you could speak about peer court tonight a little bit on it, and let the public know what we're doing and how's it working.
So we established this year in the high school social studies class, is run by Mr. Travers. It's called Youth Court, and it's basically like a restorative process. It's like an alternative to traditional consequences. So instead of like a detention or in-school suspension, they will go to youth court, which is run by students. So you have a student that's a judge, student that's a bailiff, you have students that's a juror, and the student goes in, and the student has a lawyer as well, and the lawyer reads the referral. They go over the referral, and then the jurors ask questions. They ask questions about the incident, and then at the end they ask questions about like how can you make changes and how can you improve next time. And then they have like a result at the end where they might have to write an apology to the teacher, or they might have to do some type of community service within the building. But we started probably officially having cases probably about 2 weeks ago. We've been having one every day, and it's been going really well. I mean, the kids love it, and the students that go in there really appreciate it as well. We're just trying to change, not be heavily punitive on every situation, and really try to have like a restorative process within the building, and it's been working really well. Hopefully, we can expand it and make it bigger as well.
Yes, thank you very much. Excuse me. Also, something else that was brought up during the education meeting was it's called ESSA, and I want the community to know about this. So if you remember in 2002, they had the No Child Left Behind Act. So now we have something called the Every Student Succeeds Act. And based off of this act, there are a few things that the state is now going to be requiring for districts to do. And they're going to be measuring basically the progress off of these 3 indicators, index indicators. State assessment measures, which they're going to look at percent proficient or advanced on PSSAs. They're also going to look at meeting annual growth expectations. And also percent advance on PSSAs, they're looking at that as well. The on-track measures will be English language proficiency, chronic absenteeism. And parents, the reason why I want to bring this up, this was at the education meeting, this was something a couple parents had questions about. We are looking further into how they are identifying and putting absenteeism, how they're looking at absenteeism. You know, I don't know if you bring your kid, what did we talk about? The half day, first like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and then you sign the kid out around 10 or 11 o'clock. Would it be looked at as absenteeism if the kid comes late? I don't know what criteria they're looking at it right now. We have to get further information on it. But it's important because when I visited the high school, one thing that I did notice that stuck out to me was the amount of students that I seen late. There were plenty of students coming in around 8:30 and 9 o'clock. And I talked to Dr. Lee, I talked to Mr. Curry about what are we doing to try to control lateness. Because I personally think that not only should we be talking about it with our kids, but our parents as well. Because we need to rectify the situation. Kids need to know they need to be in school, and parents need to know that they need to get their kids in school as well. But with that being said, now the state is going to be looking at it. at chronic absenteeism. Also, grade 3 reading, grade 7 mathematics, they're going to be looking at as well. College and career measures. Now, they've always looked at graduation rate. The new one is career readiness benchmark. So we have to make sure that we fulfill that obligation with making sure that we're getting our kids ready, career readiness, but now the state is going to be measuring us on that as well. And the other new one is post-secondary transition to school, military, or work. So that's more like our VOTEC program, right? Similar to that, and they want to make sure that we're using that as well. So those are a few things that new indicators, PA index, future indicators that they'll be looking at that the state is asking of us. We're going to be revisiting this again at the next education meeting. And that concludes my education report. Thank you.
Thank you. May I have a second, please?
Sorry, I already did.
Oh, sorry. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? Thank you. Mr. Wright, personnel?
Before I get to personnel, the past several years, I've been requesting that at the graduation, that we should make a list and notice how much
Mr. Wright,
scholarship.
can we save this for the end? Because it's not on the agenda, and we're trying to stick to the agenda as much as possible, if we could.
I would have a whole lot to say for then, I was just trying to get that out of the way.
Okay, I appreciate that, but I'd appreciate saving it for the end. We owe our public the ability to stay on the agenda.
All right.
All right, so personnel, please?
Personnel, C1 retirement, C2 resignation, C3 rescinding of resignation, C4 termination of service, C5 appointment that we talked about in executive session, that I would make a statement in regards to that when I finish the report. 7, support staff, D, part-time tutors, E, homebound teachers, F, curriculum review meeting, supplemental contract, salary tracks, C7, tenure awards, C8, summary of recent diversity committee meeting, C9, substitute teacher service, C10, resignation professional service, C11, appointments, instructional assistants, supplemental contracts continue, salary track changes, leave of absence, and changes in assignment.
I'm going to get a second, and then you can make your comment.
Okay.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Second.
Okay. Any school board director comment, Mr. Wright?
And Mr. Bowen?
Any
comment?
Any
No, I
comments?
have a comment.
Okay, but Mr. Wright's going to go first.
I thought I was going to say, can you let him speak first?
Yes, first of all, I wanted to, in the executive session, I wanted to commend the school board director as well as the public to participate in minority diversity committee. And we have worked hard and long and tireless in that committee. We're making some recommendation that hopefully that we'll leave a legacy for anyone who will come behind us. Unfortunately, we're not living up to the tenure that what we set out to do, and hopefully that we can rectify that. There were recommendations that we will participate on interviews. Unfortunately, in quite a few cases that did not happen. And I do not want the committee to be undermined with the work that they have done, that we not move forward, and also the public hopefully do not lose faith in what we are trying to attempt in diversity. This is no disrespect to Mr. Casey, who I do not know, did not see his resume. I did not see any other applicant's resume, so unfortunately, I would have to vote no. The board members can make their own decision. Secondly, I like this idea with tenure. The professional personnel staff calls for tenure after completion of 3 years of satisfactory employment under the temporary professional contract and eligible to receive a professional contract effective August 27, 2018. I would like to recommend, and I guess I'm asking Committee mainly Mr. Conley, that we have individuals who make tenure. And hopefully, after making tenure, they would stay with us. There have been times that they make tenure and then they leave and go somewhere else. We want to see what we can do after they make tenure, after 3 years, that it will continue to work in our school district. So, Mr. Conley, can we keep a record of these individuals who made tenures and see how many is still going to be with us and how many is going to leave?
Absolutely.
Oh, excuse me, I still have more. At the diversity meeting and also at the executive session, it's clear that we made some fundamental mistakes. And hopefully, Mr. Khan, that we can rectify that in regards to an understanding the interviewing process. Process of hiring, how we can, not only the school board director participate, but the public. And sometimes I hear that maybe no other school district do this, but what I was really excited about this committee, we were thinking outside the box. We weren't putting a policy together that would replicate what others are doing, that we was going to be different. And so far, we have been leading that charge. So, but now I'm hearing that maybe we want to be like everyone else, which I don't think that we should. I think we should continue the path of being different, that we would leave a legacy, that we can have candidates who want to come here knowing that they have a fair and equitable chance of being hired in the Penn School District. And so, and what a couple of my questions will automatically answered. But at the diversity meeting, we almost finished. November the 8th, we will have the policy, and we will maybe, it's a possibility that you can attend since there were some mistakes that we made. And that we will put this policy in place, that we will vote on it, and we will leave a legacy that we'll all be very proud of. And so.
Thank you, Mr. Ray.
But I didn't feel I'm waiting for Ms. Lewis. Okay, thank you. And October the 30th, we will have a personnel meeting. And the personnel meeting, what we will go over, review our October personnel agenda, staffing updates, the interviewing process, assistant principal information, salary information with the central administrative staff across the county, as well as our local staff and the salary that our staff is receiving. And any questions that anybody else, when they attend the meeting, that can add, will be on the next agenda.
Great, thank you, Mr. Wright. Ms. Fitty?
Yes, I'm just looking at the personnel, terminating the services. I'm sure you talked about during the executive, so I can. No problem. I
You
couldn't
can
be here
certainly
last
ask
for
me
other
about it.
reasons. I'm not gonna go in, but.
Yeah.
Okay, appointments, hold on, bear with me. Substitute teachers. I know we're lacking in that field, that we need more substitute teachers. Is there any way that we are guaranteed that if a teacher is out, I don't know where Joe Conley is he not here? Oh, there you are. Are we gonna work a little hard on that and getting substitute teachers in so that if a teacher calls out, we have someone to cover that position?
Number one objective in all of HR in Delaware County is when you go to a meeting, the first topic is we don't have any subs in the county. So we're trying as best we can. Ms. Fitty will continue to work on that. We raised our building sub rate to a nice figure last year, $150. Now several districts have gone ahead of us. Upper Darby's 160, some are going 170. Chester Upland cannot find subs and they're paying $200 a day for subs. So it's just a very, nature where the number of kids being certified is down. They're getting full-time jobs in the sub pool. So we're working with STS for our fill rate. It's very frustrating for teachers and.
Because I want to see your face, but the guy with the cameras, arms in the way, and that's all good, I get him. It's sad that other schools are overbidding us, we could be lacking subs. And we can't overbid them because we never have enough money.
We're competitive, really.
Sure. I mean, everything is competitive. Also, resignations, I know I can't talk about that. The one that she left and then got rescinded. Is the reason why, did she put in an exit letter why she was leaving and then turn around, she rescinded it? Is it because, on C3, A, and then 1? Maria.
Yes.
She resigned, then got rescinded. Do we know why she wanted to leave, and then now she decided to come back?
She had a position last year at the middle school that she's had for several years, which is the itinerant support position. And there was a change in their schedule for this coming school year, this current school year, which she didn't think was, fitting, wasn't something that she had been used to doing and liked the itinerant position. There was another district that offered that, she accepted it. In the interim, another teacher at the middle school left to go to another school district, so Principal Hill readjusted the schedules where now Miss Maria can.
So basically, actually accommodated someone, and I hope they note that we accommodated, because they were willing to leave us for whatever reason, and now they rescind and come back. So, I want to thank you for, she should get an award for wanting to leave and come back. Other than that, Mr. Casey, am I saying that right? You are now the assistant to the business administrator to Jeff Cup. Am I correct?
Pending our vote.
Pending vote.
Huh?
Pending the vote.
Oh, I vote? Well, I could, God bless you. My thing is, before you came on, there was an interview process. And I would like to have been on that interview process. This is something that me and Mr. Wright had talked about prior. We get new people in, we didn't get a chance to meet you at face value, and you look like a stand-up guy, I don't know you yet. As the personnel, and on the assistant personnel, I welcome you aboard. And I congratulate you for coming in, and like next time, I think the process should be where we can actually sit on an interview, so we're not,
So we're gonna talk about that on October 30th, but in all fairness, the process has worked, how the process has worked. We never sit, no disrespect, on positions that are of that level. We didn't sit on Brian Kaiser, so we don't sit at that level, but if we wish to change that policy, I'm sure that will be a conversation point on October 30th.
Because I don't put people at level up and down in the middle, everybody's high on my level.
Right.
I just feel that because we are the board, we're 9-body people, I just feel that we have the right to interview, and don't take this disrespectful. I welcome you aboard. I just feel it makes it easier for us board and say, oh, did you know this guy got hired, this person? No, I didn't know.
Well, he was.
So this will alleviate the 9 board, and nobody else is whipping, that's fine. But I just think we should be also called into the interview process.
So that is something we'll talk about on October 30th.
And that's a policy thing?
We hire about 75 people a year. So I think that we should really talk about that, because I'm not sure that the board wants to sit on 75 interview processes.
Are you sure about that?
I said I'm not sure. I do not want to sit on 75 interview processes. And attendance at board meetings is not consistent, but I hear you. I will tell you that when I saw Mr. Casey's name in our packet on Thursday, I did Google you, so I felt like I did know him, and that is a process that I use all the time.
What did you do, Jen?
I Googled him.
You Googled him?
Yeah.
So you now been Googled?
Yeah, I'm sure it's not the first time. But
my grandson's
a
gonna come to
process that I
that
use.
and I'm like, oh, heck no. You gotta YouTube that. So you've been Googled, and you've been, I just feel on next practice that,
Let's talk on the 30th.
Yeah, I'd be definitely there.
Great, that's great.
Thank you.
Awesome. Any other comments from this Board of School Board Directors? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Are we voting?
Then we
You
have to
haven't voted
second.
yet. All those in favor, yes. So you can say no to him if you like.
Sometimes we vote on the entire agenda, we separate C5.
You didn't ask to separate.
You can make a motion to separate if you want.
Yeah.
Is that what you're?
Motion to separate C5.
Okay, who's going to second his motion to sever?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of severing?
Aye.
So, can you raise your hands, please? 1, 2, to sever.
You mean-
Not to vote against, just to sever.
Just to sever.
Right? Okay.
So that's 4-4. We have a tie. What now?
What? Wasn't, she just raised
Great. 1,
1,
2,
2, 3, 4.
4.
This is the separate.
To sever, yes.
Yeah.
So what happens with 4?
It doesn't pass.
Okay, so it doesn't pass with 4. If you would like to
So you can
not,
still vote no on the whole agenda if you want.
With the exception of the one.
right, or you can call the one like I did on policy. You can say with exception,
Right, yeah, that's what
Right.
I said.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. All those in favor of the personnel agenda?
Aye.
Okay, anyone against?
You should raise your hand. You're
No,
against
with the one. I'm voting no on C5.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay?
All of C5 or C5A1?
C5A1.
Yeah.
C5A1. He's been Googled.
Right.
Okay, next, thank you all.
So should we have Mr. Casey stand up? and-
Oh, sure.
Oh, Mr. Casey, stand
Please
up.
stand up.
Thank you. Can you tell the board a little bit of your background, please?
Yeah, for the past 16 years, I worked at DCIU as the accounting supervisor. Prior to that, I worked at Delaware County, and prior to that, at Lower Merion, and before that, I was in private industry as an auditor for SKF USA, way back when.
All right, thank you and welcome.
I just want to add,
Yes,
I
sir.
met him as I was late for the pre-session. I went and shook his hand, and I didn't Google you, but I shook your hand and said, welcome aboard.
Okay, property committee agenda. In Mr. Hobbs' absence, he would like us to note that Monday, November 19th, after the meeting of the whole, we will have a property committee meeting.
Hold on, when's this?
November 19th, after the committee of the whole.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
If there's nothing on the agenda of the property, it says no item, right? Is there anything I can bring up that concerns property? Because
Yes.
I'm on the committee?
So you can add it afterwards. It was not asked to be added to the agenda. We're trying to stick on the agenda. So like Mr. Wright has something to add afterwards, you also may add something afterwards.
So I have to add after.
Well, right, we've been talking about adding things to the agenda before.
Well, I wasn't here before I was away.
So
Okay.
you could email, you could email it in first. You could give me a call.
But tonight I can mention after the meeting, after the agenda.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. New business. You would be under new business.
Oh, is that new business?
Yes.
Okay, you'll be loaded with the new business.
Okay.
Okay.
Ms. Richardson, budget and finance, please.
Budget and Finance, E1 is your treasury report, E2 is a list of bills. I have scheduled a Budget and Finance meeting on Thursday, November the 15th, and which would include a discussion on the EIT tax. So I'm asking that each school board director will sit with their borough manager and council president to get an update on the EIT tax. So when you come to the meeting on Thursday, November 15th, you'll be prepared to answer questions concerning the EIT tax.
Right? So again, this vote would be to put in.
It's just a discussion.
Right. But
Not a vote.
right, but if it were to take place, the EIT is just to put it on the ballot. We may not add an EIT independently via vote.
The EIT tech, not to interrupt you, what was that number, 3.4? 3.4?
No, that's,
No, I know what I'm talking about.
you're talking about the index. We're talking about the EIT tax that's collected in your borough. So that's why I want you to sit with your borough manager, your council president, and they can discuss that further with you. So when you come to the meeting, you will be prepared to answer any questions, have a conversation.
So,
Okay.
currently, right now, we know the two boroughs that don't do EIT are
Three.
three.
Yeah, Lansdowne
Lansdowne, Colwyn,
and
and Albany.
And
Okay.
that's the 1% earned income tax.
So, the question I had was with regard to, I know for instance, Colwyn, we know we don't have EIT. So what type of discussion are you looking for us to have? Are they interested? Because I feel like as a board of directors, we got information on EIT, but do we have enough information to be able to present it in the right way to our borough managers?
I'm gonna say to present information to them, they'll probably be presenting to you, so you can get a clear understanding.
But how would they present to us if they don't, that's what I'm
They
saying.
know, the
Okay.
borough managers, they know.
Because I'll tell you this,
Yeah.
when I talked to our president, she didn't know anything about it, but I'll call the manager and talk to him.
so I can
There was
resend
also
you
a-
the information.
Talking
Yeah,
points to
I can
give us.
resend you the information. I'm not sure if Colwyn was at our, meeting with the boroughs.
Yeah, because it was the same, remember it was the same.
As
we had
cleanup,
a-
I think.
As cleanup, it was
Yeah.
the same time as
Yeah,
cleanup.
so,
That was it.
and your borough you'll see, but if we were to pass it, your borough could take half of it just via vote.
Oh, no, and I understand that. I have a little bit of understanding of what it is and the speaking points, I have those topics. It's just, I want to make sure that I present it in the right way to the borough manager. I understand how it could be beneficial as well, but I just want to make sure I'm relaying it the right way.
Got
That's
it.
all.
Thank you, Ms. Wilkinson.
And I
Ms.
mean,
Finney?
but we had a meeting before about the EIT tax, about the 1% earned income.
Yes, we did.
And we presented a meeting to all the boroughs that came. And what it was is that only 3 communities give the borough 1% earned income. What had happened is the school wants to take half of that, of the 1% from the boroughs.
Yeah, be
And I would
0.5.
talk to my borough manager, and I understand, I was thinking about the other tax, 3.4, just flew me. So what the school is trying to elect, that they take 1%, half of the 1% earned income from our borough, and
Yeah,
they get the other half.
yeah,
That's what that's about.
yeah.
I already talked to my borough managers and my borough people on council. They're not happy. They want to
Ms.
keep the
Finney,
1%.
this is just a talking point.
Yeah, I talked to
You know,
them.
it fall by the wayside, but it's a talking point.
It didn't
okay?
fall by my wayside. I mean, I
But
talked
I'm just saying, we're not voting on it at this meeting, it's a talking point.
Well, and I understand where you guys are coming from, but if only 3 boroughs charge the 1% income tax, why don't all the, did you ever ask Lansdowne to do it? Colwyn?
Well, that's what we're trying to do because we see
But see,
that
if
we
you're
could get
asking your
extra
boroughs to get the 1%, they should, because it goes to the borough to help the borough out.
Yes, but what we're trying to do is that if other boroughs are doing it, we're in a financial crisis. So being able to capture that 0.5% from the boroughs would help us and it would help our students. So that's why we're trying to see if the people would like to engage and have this conversation. It's just a conversation. So if East Lansdowne is not for it, then East Lansdowne would speak to you and say, I'm not for it, we're not for it, and these are the reasons why.
And I know the reasons why. So when you take we take a half a percentage or 1% for the school, because I know we need money.
November 15th, that's
I
what
know, I know.
she wants you to talk to her on
Right.
November.
Can we
okay.
just move on? I just want you to get that information from your borough manager
did.
and your council
I did.
president.
Okay.
A
But then when you
talking point.
take a half a
This is
percentage
not
from
the
their
meeting.
1%,
Okay.
then you're
This
gonna
is
raise
not the
taxes
meeting,
too.
Ms.
No, we're
Finney.
not.
This is
Oh.
not the
Part of
meeting.
the conversation
Yes.
is,
There's no,
The part
okay.
of the conversation was not to raise taxes. November 15th, we'll
may I
talk about
have
it then.
great, anyone else? May I have a second of the Budget and Finance Committee agenda? Thank you. All those in favor? Anyone against?
I'm against, I'm abstaining.
Okay.
There's no baseball.
Okay.
I can
Okay.
do that.
Well, you're supposed to abstain for
Yeah,
a
you're-
reason.
I did, and I'll tell you my reason.
Okay.
I was out of town this weekend at a wedding. My packet didn't come until Friday when I left, and when I came back yesterday, I was too darn tired to really look at any paperwork. So I'm personally telling you, I did not have time to review it, so I'm abstaining.
Got
I
it.
can't vote for something I didn't look at.
Got it. Ms. Finney, Policy Committee agenda, please?
Yes, I met with Dr. Bruno today briefly. The policy as of F1, in accordance with oversight and regulations of Title I policy 918 must be incorporated into the district Title I plan and shall be allocated annually with involvement. Dr. Bruno, there's been a lot of questions about policy. And next time, not this week, because this week's out, maybe in the near future when we do this, I want it to be a highlighted policy so people don't question. And I will have a policy meeting probably in November, not quite sure of the date yet, and I will call you, see if if you can. And then I gotta ask the board if they can make it.
We can do that. All policies discussed at board meetings are posted on our website in advance.
The request is that there be a snippet about the changes to the policy in the actual board meeting.
And I know the policy, when you get it, it's like a booklet. I'm not asking, just to clarify some issues that people have in regards to policy. I thank you.
I just wanted to speak to that. The reason we're just talking about, there are certain changes sometimes in policy that we had not seen, like for instance, the hoodie policy with regard to the hoodies. It was oversight. So for some of the board members, when we were reading, we didn't see that. So therefore, it's something that we're just asking for changes. If there are significant changes, I feel like it needs to definitely be brought to our attention. But if we had changes on the page, it would really help us. That's all.
All policies that are up for change are sent to you in the update prior to the meeting. And the changes are highlighted in the update.
Yes, but speaking to that, we received probably about 18 documents. Like one email, I just got 18 documents. So with that, I have to read all of that, and that's no problem. But at the end of the day, it would help and be more beneficial if you would highlight these points in one page so we can know these are significant changes. This is what's coming into play. And then we can take a look and make sure we read in depth into the policy.
That's done in the policy, it'll say revise. So that it'll be highlighted what was revised.
They're just asking for it in the minutes, and that's what it is. Okay,
And thank you, Dr. Bruno.
Thank you.
may I have a second? Oh, it's just, thank you. You corrected me before the solicitor. A solicitor's report, please.
We had an executive session this evening to discuss one personnel issue, one special education litigation matter, and one tax exemption litigation matter.
Thank you. Any old business, Mr. Cuff?
No, ma'am.
All right, new business.
You haven't done.
Right,
We'll-
Mr.
we'll
Wright?
Along with everything else, you haven't.
Okay. Mr. Wright?
Two bullet points on the education. One on education, one on personnel. The education, like every year, like I said, we attend the graduation. Every year I read the newspaper or the information, I look on TV. All the schools is highlighting, promoting how much scholarship their children, students receive. I like to see us do that. We haven't done it in quite a while, and I don't know why.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Wright?
I wish Ms. Boykins pull ahead, please. Thank you. I appreciate the spreadsheet that you put together in regards to how we can track everything. And I'd like for you to continue that, and maybe Mr. Conley, help to put it all together. That was very informative and appreciative.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wright. Ms. Fitty?
Yeah, first I want to add this, that we don't have it on the board highlighted. When we have communications, he stands on having a whole week from the 22nd to the 26th. Monday was pajama day, I wore mine. Crazy on drugs, team against drugs. This is a whole week of planning. We have the officers and we have candy pizza. We have people talking to our children against drugs. that wasn't my only thing, but just want to say, we never get highlighted for this kind of stuff, and I love my school, East Lansdale. I have a situation. It's been brought to my attention, when someone pulls the fire alarm to schools, there's like 4 schools, it does not connect to the 911 center. So they don't know that we're in a need of a fire, okay? Last week, after school program left, I noticed the back door wouldn't shut. Well, there was no custodian that night to make sure when that person left to lock the doors. I did text Monique, I know she's at education meeting, I was not home, and asked for James to come to me right away. There was an emergency. Anybody could have penetrated the school could have gotten fired when the emergency alarms don't go to 911 center, building can burn. We had a situation when I first came on at the high school, and I'm sure you're aware, some 1 or 2 or 3 penetrated our high school. I got a call at 5 o'clock in the morning. I had to take off from work and ran right over. It was horrible. It was horrendous to see our school on fire. I don't know if the alarm system didn't work. I don't know what, but this kid did a number to our school. So this brings me up to where I am. I want to know who is keeping a contract, who is keeping a connect with our fire alarm system, which has to be inspected every year because I called the county people. And it must be posted that the alarm system has been inspected. This has been going on for years, but no one knew it. So now, I don't know who we hold accountable, but it better be fixed fast, because God forbid, one of our schools catch on fire, and then we go, oh, we should have fixed it. It needs to be addressed now. Our alarm system, we have a problem. I wish Aramark was here, but they're not here, and I'm not blaming Aramark. We're low in custodians. Okay, so we only had 1 day guy, didn't have a second guy, so when they at the school left, they couldn't lock the door, they called me. Well, I'm like, okay, I have no number to call. I don't know who to call. So that's when I text Monique to get Jane, and Jane got back to me about 9:30. Someone ever unlocked the door and set the alarm. I have a real problem with this. I am a proactive person, and I really want to address it, and there's 4 schools. Now, I heard for a quick fix, it will cost us $320,000. Now, I hear a lot of you say that you're here for the children, you're here for this, you're here for that. I am also here for the children. I also am here for our staff. And I'm bringing it to attention now because I was up for 2 nights straight. I was a wreck. I was upset. There should be a number for each board member to have to contact someone in an emergency situation. And those fire alarms, when I go pull that alarm, that best get to the 911 center. And it better be fixed now, because we can't wait 1 more day. I don't know what the holdup is, and no one really can give me an answer how long we've been out. But I hear it's been quite some time, and that's just nerving.
Mr. Cobb?
Yes. So this summer, we went through and we realized that some of the systems were outdated. So what we did was we contracted out with the carrier. We had a couple different carriers. So we went with one carrier and said we wanted this carrier to bring everyone up to date. As they were going, and they agreed to do that. So as they went through the process of evaluating all of them, at the tail end of their summer, when they were updating, they realized that certain ones were out of whack. So what we have now is we have to get a temporary fix in to get those out of whack. So right now, we know which buildings they are. We got a temporary quote. So I asked them the other day, which buildings can they address the first? So we have that on the board. We have the quotes for them. So that's what we're waiting for them to get the equipment to come in and correct them.
And that company is
FAMCO.
I called them. I personally called them because I'm a proactive person. I don't want to wait till tomorrow. Because you know what the problem is? The alarm system wasn't working, and they told my principal, override that. I said, no, you are not capable of that's not your position. Someone from that company should have been over ASAP, and there's 4 other schools involved. What are they waiting for? Is it wait because we don't have money?
No.
Well, isn't there grant money to help us?
Not right now. We did apply for a grant to
I know, you
replace.
just signed it last Friday. It was drawn up on June. and the deadline was Friday. So it'll take us anywhere from 3 to 4 months to get that money. But in the meantime, the temporary fix is gonna cost us $320,000. Have they fixed the fire alarms as we speak now or no?
So the fire alarms are operational in the building, they are not connecting out in those buildings. So that's what we're trying to get that updated as quickly as possible.
But not to be rude, when are they gonna get the update? Because tomorrow might be too late, you don't know. You follow me? I'm not trying to.
No, I hear what you're saying. I mean, we understand the urgency of it, and this is where the company is at. This is what we went to them. So we asked, we're putting the pressure on them to get that installed.
So my question is, what are the corrective actions that are set in place? What do we have right now set in place that if a fire occurred in any of the schools that she's saying, what would happen? What do we have set in place?
So there is a process within each building that to get out. It's the 911 calls that are not going out. So in an event that the fire does happen, they can call the fire department.
Okay, so the problem is, so it's not that the alarm is not going off. The problem is that
Correct.
when it's pulled, it's not going directly to 911.
Correct.
So you're saying is the corrective action is someone in the building would just call 911?
Temporarily, correct. Until
And if no one's in the building and there's a fire, who do you call? Ghostbusters? There's nobody there.
So,
I mean, realize, I'm not trying to be smart.
No, you're right. And once we realize that this is why we're trying to get the push to get this corrected.
So to speak to that, then that means that we need to have some type of security at night for corrective action, because if you think about that, we don't have that means that our schools aren't being looked at, and in those 4 schools that she's referring to, that's a problem. Because if during the day, she's right, who's watching our schools at nighttime?
Right, well, so, Mr. Coffin, where are you getting the $320,000 to do this? Like, what is it being taken from?
The only option we have right now is to go for the grant money that we had for Airmark, the Airmark that we got from the contract.
Okay.
That's the option right now, to utilize those funds.
Okay.
But grant money is also written in such a form, you gotta watch how you do that grant.
Thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
So part of our contract enabled us that we receive grant money for our own discretion. So
That would take care of our $320,000 quick fix until the other grant money comes in.
Correct.
And then with the new grant money, from what I'm understanding, all the schools will be connected. And then rather have the police come because they cost us money. The security is gonna take care of all this, am I correct?
Somewhat. So the police, so right now, even all the buildings, right now, if there's a call that triggers the police, the alarm company will call us, and then we determine whether or not they dispatch police or anything.
Yes. I'm aware of it because I have an alarm in my house that went off while I was away, and I was gonna get charged, but they realized I told them to take care of my house while I was away. My problem is with this. Please don't take me rude, okay? The thing is, I am very distraught, upset. There's 4 schools involved, and regardless, I know we always cry about not having money, but I want to make sure we don't lose anybody over this or something should happen. And I have not slept right since I heard this. And it's very...
Mr. Cook, can we make our local police departments aware of our situation?
Yes.
And ask them to do more drive-bys than usual?
I did.
Thank you. You know, and please don't take this the wrong way, but there are costs of action or lack of action for passing unfunded budgets. You know, $320,000 is a mill. There are things that we are robbing Peter to pay Paul to have this district running. It's always been the board's thought that as much money should be in front of the children as possible. While it's very unfortunate that these systems are broken, I understand and hope that we can do something, but please know that that $320,000 will come from somewheres. And we don't know if we will be getting the full ask of our grant money. Chances are we will not, because every district in the state is applying for that same money.
And I'm not worried about every district. I'm worried about our school right now with the 4 schools. Listen, Jen, These alarms for the 911, the fire alarms, have not been working for more than years. And it wasn't detected until someone came in and pulled it and did like a safety thing. So this is, and every year we raise taxes, and I know it goes to salaries and pensions and medical. But in the meantime, we're not aware that there was 4 schools, I'm not gonna mention all the names, that has a potential emergency, and they're regarding our children and our staff, so I can't emphasize enough on that. I don't know how it got not noticed.
I think also if the money is a big, clearly we have to get this done, right? And then we have to have further discussion on it. But also another thing is, would it make sense to have on-site security for that time? My thing is, I mean, you're quick to say no, but then do we have the 300,000? Would it cost us 100,000 to make sure we have 24-hour or that security after a certain time? Would it be cheaper for us for the time being, where we can save a little bit money until we build up to that 300? I don't know, but I think that we need to make a fix. We need to make a fix, because she's absolutely honest about what if something happens. Something could happen tonight. God forbid.
And I appreciate you, because I think that's what we need.
Either you get security or we put the 300 out, but I think we're trying to save money. What would make sense? What's cheaper right now, or do we just put the 300 out? That's the decision on the table.
So what we can do, so I can get the cost of having someone there at night to watch. We can
Around the building?
Around the building, yeah, until we get the fixes in place. We can get that.
Normally, I would have a nighttime janitor there, because Aramark is short, nobody's showing up at night, and that's another problem. So no one's there at night to set the alarms at night when he goes out or she goes out. And God forbid, if that janitor is upstairs and something happens fire downstairs, and then he runs downstairs, now downstairs could be loaded with smoke, and he can't put a fire alarm, or she, and then we have a situation worse in our hands than what we have now. So I'm not trying to be mean, or like I'm taking over the meeting. I am very concerned about this.
Got it. Any other new business from any other board of directors?
You have the NSBA conference.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I seen that, and I didn't know when I seen it in the email. I knew last year we had the rule of the band where no school director, because we couldn't afford it at that time.
Yes.
Did we already talk about this?
No, but let Jeff correct that ban issue, because I got corrected on that last week.
Oh, okay.
So I don't necessarily think there was a ban. That year, there was a vote by the board to not go that particular year.
Okay.
But the funds are there within the board allocation for travel, so there's not necessarily a quote-unquote ban. So now, if the board elects to go, it is available there at the board's discretion. There is a limit that we put on it per person.
And it's in Philly this year, which
Right,
is
so the Philadelphia
convenient.
thing, the good part about the Philadelphia option is that you don't have the lodging, which I think drove the cost before, is what it did.
And the transportation. But please know that if you do want to go, and I support anyone that wants to go, please make yourself available for those 3 days
Oh, of course.
in a row, right?
How do you want the board members to just submit their name?
Yeah, just submit your name.
So we call Jeff or Janet.
Janet. Okay?
Are you ready for a vote
You
now?
want to do it on the vote now? I mean, would I have to put your names in now so you can make the vote now?
I would like to.
I'll
It's very
vote.
beneficial, board members. I think that, especially our new board of directs, and Rebecca, like, I think it's awesome. If you could go, did Jamise go
I
yet?
went to one in like last January when I.
Did Jamise get the opportunity to go?
No, I wasn't sure about like the cost. I had actually reached out to Jennifer about this.
Because it's really, well, since
So
you already
we're saying
went, you
we're
know
gonna
how
pay for it.
beneficial it is.
Okay.
So it's on March 30th through April 1st, which is a Saturday through Monday. Just so everyone's aware. So right now I have 3 board members who are opting to go. 4. Yes. Mr. Wright, Ms. Hoff, Ms. Boykins, and Ms. Phillips.
Okay, so once we register you, it's 125 hour cancellation. So once you're in, you're in.
The trip is $750, am I correct?
So
I'm sorry.
registration is $765, and then there are different added on
I was
options.
ballpark out by
Mhm,
$50,
yeah,
but
roughly.
$750.
You learn a lot there, like, I would urge you, that's where you network and you can network with other board of directors as well. So if you haven't went, and if it's anybody that wants to go that hasn't went, that you want me to give my seat up, I'll do it. Cause I think that it's helpful. It's helpful for any board
And
member.
I would ask that board members come back and report, that we coordinate what sessions we're going to, and come back and report out in any way, just notes, whatever you want, so we all can learn from it.
What about other board members?
I'll contact them
There's a
tomorrow
okay.
morning.
I'll let you
Sorry,
know.
Ms. Phillips.
I have to look at my calendar for this.
So,
And the
right,
district's gonna pay for it, right?
correct. So we have a motion right now to, you wanna wait till you can approve the four?
Where we need for the approval, at least you'll have the approval, and that way if she decides not to.
Yeah,
Just put your name
how
in.
about if
I don't
we,
know yet, I have to look at the date.
so how about if we approve everyone and those who do
I'll call
not
you.
wish to go,
Okay,
we'll cancel, but you have to do it soon.
So do you someone want to make a motion just to approve that any and all board members who wish to participate in the NSBA conference can do so out of the allocated board funds?
Great, what you said,
So-
can I have a second?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? Great, thank you. Mr. Wright, Delaware County Community College report, please.
Yes, September 25th, American Crisis Symposium Handling Election Anguish. This was moderated by, at Delaware County Community College by Joe Madison, or the Joe Madison Show, held a town meeting to discuss issues in November midterm election, such as criminal justice, reform, gun control, healthcare, immigration, and reproductive rights, and more. The panelists were Laura Coates, Brian Monroe, Trika Khan, and Jean Strout. Ironically, it was very well attended. Joe Madison is someone I've been following throughout the years, so I got a chance to personally see him. And ironically, Ms. Laura Coates is also, she's a contributor of CNN. Actually saw her on television the next night to discussing some of the midterm election, and it's over with, and also Judge Kavanaugh. So we already know how that turned out. October the 24th, DC Annual Appreciation Dinner on Wednesday, October the 24th, will take place, and the youth is very well attended, and I'm always there. But unfortunately, after the dinner, I have to attend a meeting. That's always unfortunate. Everybody else go home, and I'll have to attend a meeting, but they say it's only going to be a half hour. Next month, I'm not at liberty to say, but I'll be able to bring back some very important information in regards to our articulation program with Delaware Community College have with some university, and I will name the university that they have articulation agreement and the numbers next month.
Great, thank you, Mr. Wright. Ms. Fitty, Delaware County Intermediate Unit?
Yes, I attend 2 meetings a month there and 2 meetings a month here. It's pretty much status quo. We go over the bill list. We go over Ashton Go Tech, which is kind of delayed in building because of weather conditions or what have you. Once they're up and running, I hope every child takes advantage of their Go Tech there. They have robotics, they have all kinds of things coming in. Other than that, everything else is pretty much status quo. I do like Jane to get a hold of Delaware County Community College to come to most next education meeting. He's a gentleman about the STEM program. And I've been asking for this for months and months and months. He is he's an awesome guy. But I enjoy going to Delaware County. I'm at DCIU. There's a lot to learn. And you get to meet all the other board directors from other schools. So we have feedback. We're not the only ones having an issue. All the schools are having an issue. And it's good to talk if you talk about it. But other than that, it's just that Ashton's kind of laid back for a little bit because of work or because of the weather. Other than that, everything stays the same.
Thank you, Ms. Fitty. Delaware County Legislative Council. Senate Bill 1205 has passed, which is the change to the Keystone Keystone requirements, so they are out again for the next couple of years. Hopefully never to come back again, but don't count on it. Then there is also a very interesting Senate Resolution 417, which is the sleep study. That is the state agreeing to study high school start times, because from every perspective that previous studies have looked at, we are starting our high school students far too early and our elementary students far too late, and we really need to flip everything. This will not result in any change of policy yet, but this will be a state-level study that will save districts that wish to participate before it becomes mandated, the time of doing that study. So that's great. We also, at those meetings, talked about diversity, substitutes, and hopefully the presidents of all 16 school boards will be getting together soon and starting to have presidents meeting like the various other IUs have. That is it. Comments from citizens regarding non-agenda items? Seeing none, announcement of future meetings. There is a personnel committee meeting in this room Tuesday, October 30th at 6:30 p.m. There is a diversity and minority representation subcommittee meeting November 8th, 6:30 in this room. Budget and Finance Committee, November 15th, 6:30 in this room. Mr. Ha, there is a committee meeting of the whole, 6:30 Monday, November 19th. Followed by a property meeting after that. That should be around 7:30. And on November 26th, there will be a pre-session at 6:30, regular session at 7:30 in this room. So that's a lot of meetings this month, and we're not even in budget season. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. Your education.
I was trying to wait for all these dates because it seems like I conflict. Every time I pick a date, someone has the date already. I don't know why. It just has been apparent. I don't know.
Well, you picked the date, right? You
Remember
could.
last time I picked it?
I know.
Somebody was like, "Oh well, I have your date."
All right. Motion to adjourn.
Hold on.
Pick a date.
What?
Hold on.
I'm sorry. Do you want to pick a date?
Yes, that's fine.
What date would you like to pick?
I was just going to say, can it? Well, we have 2 meetings the weekend, and then we have Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So, Ms. Boykins, we should
killing me,
have,
guys.
I'm thinking we should have our data.
Do you want me to present at the meeting of the whole?
There's already a meeting after that meeting.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do that too, or why don't you go November 1st? No, sorry, oh, sorry. Well, why don't you go the 29th? Thursday, November 29th.
Of October.
No, Thursday, November 29th.
Well, I could. Is that okay with everyone?
Is that okay?
Does
Okay.
that fit on everybody's?
Education,
All right, thank you.
Thursday, November 29th.
Look, you're helpful. Thank you.
May I have a motion to
Wait,
adjourn?
before you bang that gavel,
I don't usually bang it, but go on.
I bang mine.
6:30.
I'm gonna make sure I get a call in regards to these 4 buildings. Okay, ASAP, please. And I think I'm gonna follow up with Mel with having someone there at night to walk around the school for not having a janitor there. We need someone in that building, and if we have to pay them, we have to pay them. We know my children and my staffs are safe.
Well, so I really have to sort of correct the record a little bit. The policy is when you're in the building and a fire happens and the alarm goes off, staff will call 911. The issue is when the buildings are empty, so maintenance leaves what time maintenance does. I don't think we should throw around, I demand folks do this. Let's let Jeff figure it out and move ahead. He knows it's an issue. I'm surprised that your borough didn't do checks like that.
I asked that.
Right.
And our borough inspector only does if they're putting in new wiring. So when this company decides to wire for the emergency or what have you, the inspector will come in, inspect and make sure it's done by code and puts a picture on the wall with the frame saying they've been inspected.
So, in other boroughs, the fire inspector comes in every year, no matter what.
Well, I was told that differently. We can get the inspector from the county to come in, because when you pull that red alarm, it doesn't go to your fire, it goes to the county, 911, and they dispatch the fire companies from the existing facilities.
Could we check on our borough's various policies regarding fire inspection?
Yeah.
And can you let us know what boroughs do what and when?
I did.
All right, no, but you didn't check all the boroughs, because I know that, I'm not going to.
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn?
Yeah, please do.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against?
Aye.
No. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you, Mr.
See you at the game on